Hi everyone, it's me Crystal. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If not, welcome for the very first time to my little art corner here on YouTube. Today we're going to be playing around with the markers that came in the SketchBox box from March 2021. Decided I wanted to do something a little creepy, a little weird, a little spooky, so I decided to do a sort of conjoined skull with a bunch of veiny weirdness going on top of it. You'll see more what I'm talking about as this goes. I'm getting a rough sketch of what I want, just using a regular old pencil. I wanted to make sure I got the green at the pupils of the eyes in immediately, since everything else is going to be a pink, purple, or red color. I did go in a little dark on the sclera of that eye there. I will be pulling in a white paint Sharpie, a water-based one, in order to help pull it back up. For the rest of the skull, I'm starting to go in with the lightest Copic purple that we got, and I noticed that on this paper it actually ended up looking more pink than it did on the swatching paper, which I found a little interesting. I didn't use this paper for the swatches. This is the AD marker paper, and it was really interesting because the markers seemed to sit on top of it for a while without fully blending out. In the little sketchbook I have there where I test them out, you can see how smooth it blends, whereas with this paper you can definitely see every little brush stroke. There was a little bit of a learning curve with the paper. I'm just not used to it, and anytime I try out a new paper, there's going to be a slight difference in application for surezies. It will be interesting to play with this paper more and kind of figure out what works and what doesn't work on it. Decided with this drawing I wanted to go super crazy with all the little lines and do some veiny stuff going on. I feel like anytime I get pinks and reds in one of these boxes, I automatically want to do one of these like little horror drawings that has a lot of fleshy colors going on in it. As I said in the unboxing video, I really love the color palette we got this month. I think it's great. I think you can do a lot of stuff with it, and for sure it's a palette that I will be pulling these individual colors into other projects later. Those purples will be great for doing some shading on people. The reds, obviously I use a lot of red in general, so I love it, and that hot pink is just so happy. It's such a beautiful, happy color. I think at this point in the drawing you can definitely see how it's harder for the marker to blend on this paper, especially compared to the swatches that we have on the left-hand side. It just kind of chills on top of the paper without soaking into it at all. I did not pull in any black for this drawing. All of the darkest lines are going to be that darkest purple we got in that Marabou set. I do pull in that white Sharpie that we mentioned earlier and a couple of different white gel pens. I actually had to order some new white gel pens because all of mine are slowly dying. I do feel like they, as in the two heads, need a name. I haven't been able to think of one. If you have any suggestions, please let me know in that comment section down below. Basically, the process I'm repeating throughout this whole drawing is putting in a base layer of whatever colors I want to use, going in with the white marker and or gel pen, and pulling in the darkest purple around it. I also pull in the brown liner for a couple of different areas as well. As always, we layer a lot in this household, especially when it comes to marker drawings. I do find something very calming about doing these small little vein strokes using a pen. Just doing a lot of small lines in general, it like calms me down a lot. I think it's because I tend to shut out the outside world when I'm doing it, and I'm just focusing in on these small little things. I kind of want to play around with something similar like this again, especially with the idea of having the eye like right under the cheekbone in that little socket area, and with the lines and everything. I think it's kind of a cool creature design. I was originally not going to do as many lines on the other section of skull. I was going to try to just leave it really red and bright pink to differentiate it from the other face we have going on. That does end up getting lost a little bit later, but there was an attempt to do that. I was originally going to allow the right side to look more like a skull, and I had to adjust a couple things. I realized that my nasal socket got a little messed up with the marker application, so I ended up pulling in some of the white marker and the white gel pen to help reshape it. That is what's great about using a white acrylic marker and or a gel pen, is if you mess up with marker, you can kind of adjust it. It makes it much more malleable than what you can do otherwise without pulling that in. And you can always layer the marker on top of the white that you just applied to, which is also really interesting because you can get a plethora of effects that way. I decided that I wanted the fleshy, kind of veiny areas. I know, real technical terms here, but I think you know what I'm talking about. To kind of feel like it was growing over from the one face onto the other one. And in a way, it almost feels like it's melting off at the same time. It's kind of an interesting concept that that's how it worked out. For the sections that are meant to be behind the face, like the little vein and the dripping elements that I added on, that is just the straight up darkest purple added in with a tiny bit of white. I wanted that to be very defined and different than everything else we had going on, and leaving it just that one color definitely separates it more and does kind of push it back versus everything else. As for the paper itself, I honestly think this kind of paper would be great for doing like some abstract ink work where you're just dripping the ink onto the paper itself, because it does hold on to each individual stroke and line that well. I think it would be interesting to kind of smear a bunch of ink on it and see what happens. If any of you have tried doing it on this paper, let me know how it worked out for you. Because of how many small, tiny lines I have packed into this drawing, I did need to walk away for a while. I felt like it was done at this point, but sometimes you need to take a break, walk off, go play a video game for a couple hours, and then come back. I ended up working on it even more, pulling in even more lines and kind of marrying the two sides together by pulling in more of that white gel pen and more of that dark purple. Unfortunately, because I did walk away and come back, I completely forgot to film the changes that were made, because I'm a genius. But this is what it looks like finished and scanned into the computer. You can definitely see there are a lot more lines going on. Overall, I really liked this box. I feel like I'm definitely going to use these markers a lot more. I think I still need to get a better grip on the paper, but I'll have to play around with it more to get a better idea of how it works. But with that, this project and therefore this video are pretty much done. If you liked it, please hit that like button. If you have any comments, questions, feelings, concerns, or you've used any of the items in this month's box, let me know all about that in the comment section down below. If you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to subscribe. I do SketchBox unboxings and projects once a month. As always, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day or night to watch this video and listen to me ramble. I greatly appreciate it. I look forward to hearing from you guys soon, and you'll definitely be hearing from me soon. Bye, everybody!